Public relations is where we try to build relationships between organizations and its publics. Our students benefit from a variety of different classes. They take theory classes, skills classes, and even a capstone class where they work with a real client. Public relations is interesting because we combine theory and practice. So they're going to learn a lot about the theories of how you build relationships, but then they're actually going to see how you do it.
I was originally attracted to the Communication Studies program at JMU just because of the amazing faculty I met, and also I really like the idea of a communications major because you're able to do so much with it, and especially at JMU you're given a lot of freedom with what projects you pursue and the opportunities you're given. And then public relations specifically was interesting to me because I know you can do a lot of different things with it, and the faculty are really interested in giving you a hands-on experience. So for example, in one of my classes I was able to work with website software and actually create a website, do the promotion for it, and use social media as well.
I really think that my PR concentration at JMU did so many things for me in the way of preparing me after I graduated, and it really goes back to being kind of two different reasons. That first half of my concentration, it was very focused academically. You know, we went into theories, and I had a whole class on persuasion, and we did tons on research, and all of those later on it became very clear that those were great building blocks when I started to actually apply that to the real world. And
a student who loves strategy, who loves putting things into practice, a student who's a good communicator, orally and in the written form, all those put together make a really strong public relations student. In public relations, you start off in Intro to PR, where you get sort of the foundation of everything. Next, you tend to go into skills classes where you polish your writing and your design skills. And then in your senior year, you go back to looking at cases, and you actually have a capstone class where you work with a real client, where you actually create a public relations campaign for them.
For my capstone, I did a literacy event where I worked with third grade children and promoted literacy with them. So I worked with an advisor here in the Communication Studies department, Dr. Tatiana Hawk, and together we were able to promote the event using the things I've learned in different classes, and actually put together an event with an author and a local elementary school, evaluate the event, and soon I'll be presenting at a conference.
the focus really was on how to apply it to the real world. So I remember in one of my classes, for example, we did a media kit for the local United Way of Harrisonburg, which was my first time doing that. In our PR campaigns class, we did a whole campaign for UREC, and actually to this day, my very first, which was a collective press mention, it was our very first ever, and it was for The Breeze, and we were very excited about that. So before I even graduated, we had practice in the real world, plus the professors were really supportive of internships as well, and so all of that together did amazing things for me. I felt more than prepared after I graduated.
A PR student's going to acquire a whole bunch of really great knowledge, skills, and theories. For their skill set, they're going to improve their writing a ton. It's one of the things that we focus on and one of the things that employers really look for. They're also going to work on their research skills, learning how to take research and apply it to a situation. They're also going to learn strategic thinking, how we take strategy and apply that to the appropriate tactics. Many of our graduates go on to work in public relations firms. We have alumni in all of the major public relations firms in the United States and abroad. But other students go in and they work for communication in a corporation, so they do internal communication in a corporation. Also, we've had a large number of our students go into nonprofits, so they're doing fundraising, doing communication, doing relationship building for those nonprofits.
So my future plans are to seek out a career in communications. I have a job lined up where I'm doing actually marketing, so not exactly public relations, but I think that everything I've learned in this communications major has been really applicable, and I know that the projects I talk about in interviews have been impressive to potential employers, and I've received a lot of good feedback.
You know, I actually teach now. I teach at a local university. I teach PR, and when I have students who are still trying to decide what they want to be for a major, I always tell them that public relations is something to consider. There are so many transferable skills that come out of it. In fact, a lot of my fellow graduates went on to do such a diverse range of things. You know, I did go into PR, but before that I did AmeriCorps, and I also teach now. There are other people I know who teach. I have friends who were in marketing research. They worked for large PR firms, or they worked in-house, some for nonprofit. So there were just so many things that we learned in the major itself. It was, you know, media relations, of course, but writing and design, and a lot of those things, again, can be transferable to other careers, especially when you combine that with outside experience. So PR was just such a well-rounded major. I would recommend it to anybody.